Funding for this program is provided by Twin Oaks Restaurant, serving a wide selection of Italian and American staples. A Rhode Island tradition for 85 years. Twin Oaks, proud supporters of Grillzz. Providence Permanent Firefighters Relief Association, here to help contact and assist Providence firefighters active and retired, and to promote functions and activities associated with PPFRA in the Providence Fire Department. And by Fugo Food Trucks, featuring an Asian Latin fusion cuisine. Available to cater private and corporate events. Found throughout Rhode Island and on the web at fugofoodtruck.com. This week on Grillzz, we set off on an adventure with Captain Greg and First Mate Andrew to see if we can get some of the most delectable and tasteful crustaceans in the sea. That would be the jumbo crabs and the delicious Rhode Island lobsters. So, kick back and relax and get ready as we take you from the skate to the plate. This week on Grillzz. We set off once again to find another one of Rhode Island's treasures. That would be the big sweet crabs, and of course it wouldn't be complete without the infamous Rhode Island seawater steak, aka the lobster. We start out by going to the local bait shop for lobster fishermen and load up with barrels of skate, which is used to bait up the lobster pots. Now it's time to head out and do some fishing. Good to see you, Captain Greg.
Good to see you, Mark.
All right, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for inviting me on your boat, the Amelia Anne, and I'm looking forward to a great day of fishing. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to have a nice day, catch some nice fresh seafood.
Oh, sounds good to me. You have a beautiful boat. What kind of boat is this? Tell us about it.
It's a 42-foot Duffy and Duffy. I had it built up in Kittery, Maine, back in 1992.
No, it seems like a nice sturdy boat. This is a nice boat, huh?
It's a really nice boat, and it's served me well for all these years.
Now, how long have you been fishing?
I think it's been 34 years, and it's gone by quick.
Tell me, what inspired you to become a lobster fisherman?
Just, I love being out on the water and the independence of it. It's what I enjoy. No sitting in traffic jams or commuting to my job. I just steam out on the boat and enjoy the beautiful scenery all around you.
So what group of boats are you affiliated with down here? Galilee, Rhode Island is one of Rhode Island treasures. It must be awesome to leave from this port.
Well, it would be the lobster fleet, and it's dropped quite a bit over my career, but there's still probably 30 active boats, and you leave the dock at usually 5 in the morning and get back between 1 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Who inspired you or motivated you to become a lobsterman?
Well, the first person I ever worked with was my brother-in-law, so I enjoyed doing that for a couple of years with him, and then went off on my own.
Now, how does weather play a part or a role in going out fishing?
Usually in the summertime, weather isn't a factor, but as you get into the fall, then if it's blowing more than, say, 20 miles an hour, you have to really think about it before you go.
We had the perfect storm before. I know you had mentioned that some of the boats that was in the harbor was built by some fellas of the same manufacturing company.
Right. The old Rhode Island Marine built the Sea Star, which was one of the boats of Bob Brown's that owned the what was the name of the boat that went down?
The Andrea Gale. These type of things do really happen in life, huh? Now tell me, how far do we have to go out to get to your traps?
Well, mine are in 3 different places. The closest would be about 5 miles away, and the furthest now is 10 to 12 miles away. We've slowed down on the throttle for how fast we go and can use a lot less fuel that way. So it's typically an hour to an hour and 20 minutes to get to our traps to start our day. Preferably you like to be fishing going into the wind or with the wind. If it's on the beam, which means coming from the side, that's the sloppiest conditions to fish in. Our day started out a little bit rough, but seemed to get nicer as the day went on, which was nice.
You know, it seems like you and Andrew are a great team. You guys seem to have things down pat and know what each other's doing at all times. It's like a well-oiled machine.
Egger, a breeding female lobster. Can't keep those if they have eggs on them. And this is a short. It doesn't make the gauge. Not big enough. Can't keep.
Yeah, you get used to working with each other, and it flows.
We all watched that big jumbo lobster come over the rails. That looks delicious. What is the biggest lobster you know about in Rhode Island that was caught?
I think the biggest I ever saw was maybe 22 pounds.
That's quite a big lobster, huh?
That's a big lobster.
Wow. Besides lobster, what other type of species come into the traps when you pull them up?
We catch a variety of things. There's usually a lot of scup, some black sea bass. You'll catch conger eels and sea robins.
I came to your boat in the summertime and purchased some crabs. Matter of fact, that's how I met you. And what type of crabs actually are we getting? Because you have lines of people down there getting your product. What's happening with that?
Glad to be on Grillzz. Have a great day.
Yeah, everybody loves the crabs. There's Jonah crabs, or rock crabs they're known as, and then we also catch the sand crab, which is more like a blue crab.
So what is all this flavor about New England lobster? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, sure, Mark. There's nothing that'll beat a fresh crab or lobster that just came in that day. And you'll find out at the end of the day when we cook some of this up.
Captain Greg, thanks again for allowing us to come on your boat, man. I appreciate it. Glad you could be a part of it. Thanks again.
I'm glad too. I'm glad you came out.
Mr. Andrew, first mate.
Every day's good on the ocean.
Well, welcome to Grillzz, man. We're having a fantastic time right now, and we got some good things you pulled over. And I see you got the, what does it say, the
USA Wild Caught Bands. Let them know where they came from. Keep it fresh, keep it local.
You can't get no better than this in New England, huh?
No.
You guys are doing great, so keep on doing what you're doing. We're just going to document it, and let's have some fun.
All right,
All right, guys. So we had a great time this morning on Grillzz with Captain Greg and First Mate Andrew aboard the Amelia Anne out of Point Judith. So, Mr. Greg, tell me something. What do we go out for actually? What do we actually do?
Today we were after crabs and lobsters. We hauled 5 crab trawls and I think it was 3 lobster trawls. Lobstering was a little slow, but the crabs were pretty good.
Okay, now what normally you guys, what would you do in a day if you went out? I mean, how many trawls would you actually put down and actually bring up in your normal day, as we had a condensed day today?
Yeah, usually it's around 300 or 330 traps we haul, which would be 22 trawls.
Okay, I know we had a lot of things in abundance, and Andrew, you was keeping busy back there, and I didn't notice the amount of actual crab that you take in. Is this a typical or normal? You would seem to working pretty hard back there.
Yeah, for the time of year, this is pretty normal. We you know, you can pull up anywhere from 10 to 20 crabs in every pot for a crab trawl, which is pretty good. And you saw the other things. We were seeing scup.
Yes.
We saw some raven. We saw some sea bass, which unfortunately we weren't able to keep because that is closed, but you still see those products coming up in the traps. So that, the crabs combined with the lobsters, combined with all the other things we see, we end up making it a pretty good day overall.
So in other words, different species equalize out your day. You don't normally focus on one thing, so it depends on the amount of lobsters versus the amount of crabs and the other different fish that are open in a season that make up a day for you guys.
Correct.
The buoys we use have to be labeled, which you can see on some of them. They have both letters and numbers. The letters being Greg's name, and then the numbers being his license number that he has issued.
So what about the buoys with the sticks?
The buoys with the sticks represent the northeast end of the trawl. The buoys without the sticks represent the southwest end of the trawl. This alerts other fishermen to the location of your trawl, so they are able to set their gear, and other fishermen are able to keep away from each other in order to not get gear tangled up on each other, and to signify where your gear ends and where your gear begins.
Now, what about regulations this time of year or throughout the year? Are there any specific regulations you guys got to work under? So yeah, I noticed you guys have a gauge, and what is that particular tool for?
Well, it's actually 2 tools that we have together in one. This piece over here is the gauge. That represents the size the lobster has to mature and be to
At least that size.
At least that size.
Okay.
And then we have the other tool, which we used earlier for the larger lobster, that makes it so it has to be under that size. And this tool here that it's attached to is the bander. A band goes on here, and that is what we use to keep the lobsters from hurting themselves, hurting other lobsters, or any of the other species in the tank.
And how about yourself?
Or us.
Or us, yeah.
Both of you. How long have you been fishing? How long have you been at this craft?
34 years myself.
34 years, huh?
Yep.
Has it been a long journey along the way and a learning experience? You seem to have everything down and down to a science.
It's gone by pretty quick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you seem to be well off at it. And how about yourself?
We were trying to figure that out earlier. It's been about 4 or 5 years, and this is the only boat that I've worked on. Greg trained me from the beginning to where I am now, so anything you see me do is all thanks to him, because, you know, I didn't know anything. I didn't know a crab from a lobster when I first stepped on this boat years ago, and you saw the way we do it. We seem to have it down pretty well, that we don't even have to say things to each other. We just know the flow of the boat and the process of fishing.
These guys have a natural rhythm and a natural thing going on, though. Greg says he's been fishing for 30-something years. I take it since you was a young man, you was out on the water.
Yep. Started, I don't know how old I was, 1984.
Okay.
83 or 84.
Mm-hmm. And it's been ever since, huh?
Ever since.
Now, are you having fun? This is sort of like your playground out here. Are you having fun, and do you enjoy what you guys are doing?
I enjoy the work.
Mm-hmm. So do you look at it as work, or your office is a beautiful office? Mine has a computer in it. Yours is the ocean, which is a beautiful thing. And that, hence without saying, how do you guys love New England and the land that we live in, and the fishing and all this process, and the freshest we can get it?
Wouldn't rather be anywhere else.
How about yourself?
The same.
Okay, I got one more question and a final question for Greg. This one here is, now as we take it from the bait to the plate, or the rake to the plate, I'm going to think of a terminology for you too. What do you have planned for us on the second half of the show? You have a special menu, I take it?
got a menu. We're gonna do some nice lobster rolls. We're gonna stuff some lobsters, and we're gonna make some crab cakes.
Oh my goodness. Well, you guys heard it here. We're gonna have a good time on the second half of this show, and I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. Andrew, and certainly Mr. Greg, aboard Amelia Anne down in Point Judith. We'll see you shortly, and we're gonna have our mouth watering. You're gonna have yours watering too. Talk to you soon.
Nice crabs in there.
Putting in nice Joda crabs.
Joda crabs.
He doesn't want to go.
He didn't want to go.
Where's he gotta go?
What are you up to?
So what we have to do now is we're going to take the crab
Yep.
and the lobster claws. We're going to give them a quick chill down.
Okay.
What this does is it helps make sure the meat doesn't stick to the inside.
Oh, okay. Okay, right now on Grillzz, this is how we do it. Brother Greg has got things in store for us, but we're gonna have a little cheat. We're gonna have a little sample of a nice oyster.
Venus oyster.
Venus oyster. Delicious. Tastes beautiful. You taste the seawater and the sugar content in the oyster.
It's the exact same thing. Is you want to make sure it goes from hot to cold, kind of like a shell shock type of thing.
Okay.
It's also worth noting that this is the area where we prepped the lobsters, so we cleaned all this down, sanitized everything before we put it in here, because the last thing you want is contamination with your food.
In this pan right now?
About a half an onion, cut up with some butter, sauteing it.
Okay.
And we're gonna add the Ritz cracker crushed up.
Beautiful.
We're gonna add some breadcrumbs and a little bit of panko breadcrumbs. There we go.
And what does this? What is this going to be? A stuffing?
This is gonna be our stuffing for the big stuffed lobster.
So, Miss Allison, I see you joining in on the team also.
Yeah.
What does Greg have you doing? What part of the ingredient are you making up?
He has me making lobster salad
Okay.
with celery, lemon, mayonnaise, water. That's got maybe a little celery salt.
Okay, beautiful.
And Cheetos. So now we gotta add a little bit of wine.
So I can see you guys get intricate down here. And we just also like to say thank you to Mr. Bill, who has provided us with a beautiful setting here. Now, how much wine did you use at that point?
Just a splash.
Just a splash? Okay, cool.
Maybe a half a cup.
Okay.
I typically do everything just by, not by measure, by what I think is right. You want to have it moist enough so it...
But you don't really want it over moist where it falls apart.
No. It's looking pretty good right here.
Are there any more ingredients that are going to go into this?
We're going to add some lemon.
Oh, nice. I'm starting to get the aroma of this.
Right.
You're kind of like marrying the flavors together. Things are happening over here.
Yeah, we're keeping it simple, but tasty.
That looks gorgeous already, and I'm kind of, I can hear my stomach saying hello, hello over there.
Right?
Captain Greg, I think you got something going on.
Yeah.
Can't wait to try it.
It's going to be delicious. I can tell.
So you continue to do that, and I'm going to go see what Miss Allison's up to on this side of the kitchen, and I'll get back to you momentarily. Joe will watch you as you do one of your
Masterpiece.
There you go. And they're looking gorgeous, by the way.
They're pretty delicious.
Captain Greg, let me ask you a question. We went from one thing, we got lobsters on the grill, the whole bit. What do you got planned for us at this point?
We're gonna make some delicious Dijon crab cakes.
Okay, cool. And you can show me what
We have shallots. We have parsley, celery, breadcrumbs, or not breadcrumbs, bread chopped up. We have the Dijon mustard. We have eggs. And we're gonna mix this together, then put the crab in so we don't break the crab up.
Okay, you want it
And then
kind of
we're
like
gonna let
a
it
lump
soak.
form?
We want it in lump form. We're gonna let it soak in
Now how long will that take to soak in?
for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then they'll be ready to put onto the griddle.
Miss Allison got everything nice for you.
I
This
know.
is kind of intense. You kind of got the herbs and the aroma and the flavor going for you right now. This is not like a one-stop thing. This is a very fresh ingredient you're using.
We just caught the crab this morning.
Now how long something like this will be on the grill, the crab cakes themselves?
Just like browning or grilling a hash brown. We're going to enjoy it shortly.
Mr. Bill, so what are you doing? What's your part of these lobster roll stuffings?
My expertise is in grilling the hot dog rolls.
Those look gorgeous, by the way. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, we like to grill them on a hot griddle so that they get nice and toasted with butter
Yeah.
and crispy and delicious. And then we're going to put the lobster inside these nicely grilled lobster rolls. They're ready to go.
So, Miss Allison, I saw you over here up to something. What are you fixing with this lobster salad? And what's the final step that you're up to?
It's the last step. Put the lobster salad in the rolls, plate it, and then we're gonna eat.
Cool. Miss Allison, I'll tell you what, I think you outdid yourself. These are gorgeous.
These look really good.
Salute. Good grief. Listen, I tell you, only on Grillzz, we get a chance to taste, test, fish for the freshest in the land. Good grief. Listen, only on Grillzz. Captain Greg, how old are these lobsters?
They're just from this morning.
Just from this morning, and they're already ready on a grill, toasted, a lobster salad sandwich. You can't beat this with a stick.
Now,
Hey, listen, thanks again, guy, and I appreciate going out on a boat, and this is only happening on Grillzz. Boy, you gotta try this, guys. Okay, are you ready? Then let's go. Let's recap what we did today. We left Galilee with Captain Greg aboard the Amelia Anne to catch some of the most fresh and tasty seafood we could find. That would include the jumbo Jonah crabs, along with some fresh, beautiful lobsters. And also some assorted fish. Captain Greg's menu was some fresh Jonah crab cakes, a super delicious lobster salad with some golden brown toasted rolls, and last but not least, the baked stuffed lobsters. Enough said. I wish you was here. Narragansett Bay and our oceans are filled with delicious life. So let's enjoy it. Delicious.
You are?
I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay.
You guys, can I just say salute? We do appreciate it, and thank you for inviting us down. And you guys, we had a wonderful day. And the funny part about this is, it's not over yet.
They're still eating.
Only on Grillzz. This is how we do it. This is New England at its best. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it,
you.
Captain Greg. Absolutely.
Thank you. Very fun.
Just gonna place them.
So I know that you put them the foil down. Now, what's the purpose of putting the foil down?
So we don't burn the bottom of the shell.
Okay.
Before
Now, what are these actually stuffed with?
they're stuffed with our breadcrumb lobster stuffing.
Now, how long would something like this actually take for until it's finished?
These will probably be done in about 20 minutes. Let's not lose any stuffing. There they are.
And what is it called?
Baked stuffed bullets.
See you later, guys. We'll see you in 20 minutes. Oh boy, I had a good time. My belly's full. And once again, Captain Greg, I said, we appreciate you inviting us down on your boat. We had a good time, a beautiful day. To you, First Mate Andrew, to Miss Allison, and to Mr. Bill, I'd just like to say thank you for us all on Grillzz. And to my cameraman, Mr. Joe, we just want to say one thing. We had a good time on
Grillzz.